Good morning and welcome to the June 2nd, 2021 Walton County Technical Review Committee meeting. Do we have any announcements this morning? And then we'll move right into project review, and we have a number of continuances and or table requests. We're going to go ahead and take those first. I think the first of those is the Gulf Shore Venture Plat. We've got a request to remove that from the agenda.
To close it, yes. They're not moving forward.
Might as well vote on each one of these.
That'd be a table.
They officially want it.
They withdrawing the application?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should say. But it was advertised. That's why I put
Let's
it.
go ahead and vote to remove it from the agenda.
So I'll motion that we remove Gulf Shore Venture Plat from the agenda.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Crystal. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is removed from the agenda. That moves us to item number 3, the Preserve at Point Washington. We've got a request to table this item. Could we have a motion to table?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a
Second.
second? And we have a second from Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none. Just one comment on this proposed project. If it comes back as a townhome project, it cannot have a bed and breakfast in one of the townhomes.
They know. I've met with the ownership group twice. They understand. They are looking at multi-options, including just developing it as the individual lots.
Very good.
But they understand that wasn't, they didn't even know about the bed and breakfast, so they understand.
So effectively, this proposal is dead.
We're talking that if they choose to go forward in another iteration, that we'll close this account number and start a new one, but they haven't made a final decision yet.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. This moves us to item number 4, Nautilus Point at Inlet Beach. We have a request to continue to June 16th, 2021 TRC at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
I'll make a motion to continue to June 16th, 2021.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to June 16th, TRC at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 5, Santa Rosa Beach Regional POP. We have a request to continue to July 7th, TRC. Could we have a motion?
Motion to continue to July 7th.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the July 7th, 2021 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 6. We also have a request to continue to the July 7 TRC meeting. Could we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the July 7 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And that moves us to, we'll tell you what, we'll take one more continuance, and that is item number 9, the Commander Landing Paddle Trail. We have a request to continue to July 16, TRC. Could we have a motion? I'm sorry, June 16th.
I don't think it'd be a conflict of interest for me to motion to continue this project, but in future iterations, I'll recuse myself.
We'll accept the motion to continue. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Sammy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed
Aye.
likewise?
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to June 16, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And I think that takes care of our administrative business. And we'll go back to agenda item number 1, Churchill Oaks replat, request to approve by final plat. Bob, would you introduce it for us?
Yes, Mr. Chair, good morning. As you said, this is Churchill Oaks replat. It's project number PLA 21000013. This is a minor plat application submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of Churchill Development LLC, requesting replat from 3 lots to 2 lots on 0.7 plus or minus acres with future land use of residential in a zoning district of neighborhood infill. The property is located in District 5, and it is on East Hodge Road, and then turn on the Churchill Oaks Drive. It is parcel numbers are identified in your staff report. Mr. Chair, there are outstanding comments from the engineer, floodplain management, and the planning department. This is being, the applicant is Jenkins Engineering. They are here. Can I enter the staff report in the record?
Yes, sir, so entered.
And if you don't have any questions for me, I will turn it over to.
I do have one question.
Sir.
Do we have a letter from the homeowners association supporting this application?
I don't know that I have that. I will double check.
Because this will be a covenant restriction impacted item. Okay.
I will turn it over
good.
to
Here.
Jamie.
Yes.
Jamie's here.
Good morning, everyone. Jamie Eubanks, CUBANKS. We've had a chance to look at the comments and didn't have any questions. I'll make a note of your comment, Mac, about the HOA letter.
We're probably going to need that before we get out of TRC.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we aren't creating a problem for the homeowners association when we're adjusting the number of lots.
Okay. I believe that's something we could probably receive before the next TRC.
Sooner or later, that will show up in somebody's HOA due bill.
Understood.
Thank you, sir. We'll look forward to the resubmittal. We'll take a brief moment to invite any technical questions regarding this particular replat application from anyone on Zoom or anyone in the audience. Anyone have an interest in this particular item? Seeing none.
You want to continue to next meeting or just conditionally approve it pending receipt of the letter and the response to the comments?
I think the comments are pretty straightforward.
Yes.
If we can add the condition of the concurrence letter from the HOA, I'm okay with conditionally approving it.
I will make that motion to conditionally approve pending successful resubmittal and a successful HOA letter saying that they have no issue with this replat.
We have recommended motion. Do we have a motion of the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the BCC, subject to satisfaction of all outstanding comments and conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Let's see, it looks like that's going to move us to number 7, which is the Topsail Hotel. Request to approve by development order. Tim is on vacation. Renee is going to stand in for Tim. Thank you very much. You can introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is a minor development order, number MIN 21-00022. Application was submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering on behalf of the St. Joe Company. They're requesting to develop a 107-room hotel with a pool amenity and associated infrastructure on 4.47 acres. It's got a future land use of mixed use and a zoning category of coastal center mixed use, and is identified by the parcel ID in your packet. There is a few outstanding comments from planning on this. They seem pretty straightforward. We are pending engineering comments. There are several comments from Public Works on this, and unless you have questions of me, sir, I'll turn it over to the applicant. And I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered. Thank you, Renee. Yeah, I see his hand up there.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Robert.
Hey, good morning. I apologize. I couldn't be there. I'm out of town today. But Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, for the record. We are the agent. We have read through the staff report and the comments. We have no objections, and we respectfully approve to request to move forward for approval.
Mr. Chair, in regards to the engineering review, I did not get a chance to complete the review. However, I've looked at it, and I think you're aware this was previously submitted as the high 5.
Yes, sir.
And this whole Topsail PUD has a master stormwater plan, so basically the impervious area has already been accounted for, and so I don't really foresee any issues with my review as far as stormwater is concerned, and this will be a great reduction in the anticipated trips, PM peak hour trips from the High 5 Entertainment Center to the hotel. So we'll just have to rework those numbers, so I don't see an issue on my part as far as holding this project up.
Mac, this is Anna with Public Works. As you're aware, the county's been doing improvements on West Hewitt Road. So we have had conversations with representatives and Mr. Robert Carroll, but we are requesting a condition of the DOB that those improvements will need to be made to West Hewitt prior to the CO being issued for this project.
Well, I'm probably going to say a few things that maybe I should have said sooner. But we got an interesting letter from St. Joe. And actually, it didn't come directly to me. But it was a letter about the mobility plan. And the need to sort of back up and take another look at concurrency and the mobility plan. And maybe that's what we ought to do here. Back up and take another look at West Hewitt. Because we have some great concerns. I understand there are negotiations. I'm not sure that those are complete yet. So quite honestly, I'm not inclined to conditionally approve this today. Yes, ma'am.
Catherine McCloy, the St. Joe Company. We have talked to Public Works. We have a plan in place. We are working on putting together an application to submit for a right-of-way use agreement, so we can make the improvements that they requested on West Hewitt.
Well, given that concurrency is a big deal, I think we're going to continue this until we get that.
Okay.
So that's going to be my recommended motion. Let's see how quickly we get it.
Okay.
Because I'm not happy with that letter. Might want to talk to George and rethink that.
Okay. We'll have a conversation about it.
We'll entertain a motion to continue this, subject to the submittal on the right-of-way agreement.
I'll make a motion to continue this project.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to continue this item until we receive the right-of-way agreement. We'll continue it to the next TRC. If we have it, we can move forward. If we don't, we can continue it again. Next TRC is June 16th.
I can amend my motion to include June 16th as the date.
Thank you, sir. If you could amend the second.
I'll amend the second.
Thank you. We have a motion to continue this project until June 16th, subject to submission of a right-of-way agreement. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to June 16th. Thank you very much. This moves us to item number 8, the Rushing 30A office. This was Tim Brown's project. Thank you, Renee, for standing in for Tim. You could tell us about this minor development.
Yes, sir, this is a minor development. Project number is 21000023. This was submitted by Jenkins Engineering Incorporated on behalf of Nextel Properties LLC. They're requesting to construct a 3,250 square foot office building on .30 acres with future land use of mixed use and a zoning category of village mixed use, and is identified by the parcel ID in your packet. There is some minor comments on this project. We did receive engineering, sir, and that was a handout. So you should have that before you.
Yes.
So we have environmental comments and had traffic comments only on their letter. I'd like to turn it over to the applicant, and I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please, unless you have questions of me. I did receive one public comment phone call on this yesterday on Tim's behalf and spoke with the opposition of the neighborhood for this project.
Thank you, Renee.
Morning again, everybody. Jamie Eubanks with Jenkins Engineering. We had a chance to review the comments. As Renee said, I think they were minor. I haven't seen bills yet, but
Really, the transportation comment, use
Okay.
the equation, the
Okay.
concurrency manual says use average rate. It's a simple,
oh, thank you, Renee. Okay, yeah, I see him here now.
simple fix.
Okay, just transportation. Okay. In that case, I don't have any questions then.
The site that got cleared without permits, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, no, that was Starkey. This site cleared without permits? That I don't know. It's been cleared for many years. Looking at the aerials.
I'm thinking it might be. No, this is not it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is in the neighborhood, though.
Understood.
Sorry, guilt by association.
No.
Sorry, thinking about a different one. see anything at all in here that gives you some amount of concern.
I don't, to be honest with you, Matt.
Environmental comments being probably the largest one.
They are, and I talked to Haley, about them and told her I didn't see any issue, wouldn't affect the site plan.
We're looking to have the scenic order buffer fully revegetated. That is a requirement,
Yes,
whether that's in this or not, but.
yes. The buffer itself is actually currently vegetated, so if preferred, it can be left. That's one of the areas that was not cleared.
Okay. This is minor development. Did you have any other questions, James?
I do not, Mac.
It's a minor development. We're going to take the opportunity to open public hearing and invite any public comment on this particular application. Anyone in the audience this morning? Yes, sir.
Good morning, committee. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is David Bailey. I'm an adjacent property owner and resident. And since the Technical Review Committee is exactly that, technical review, I'm going to offer some comments that I believe are factual in nature, not emotional. And just as some qualification for my comments, I am a licensed architect and AICP certified planner, former chairman of the Walton County Design Review Board, and I'm generally familiar with the Land Development Code and the various regulatory processes. I'm also experienced in private property development, and so hopefully my comments will be taken in that context. I have a couple comments about the project, and then I think some comments about the adjacent properties that are germane to what's before the committee today. First and foremost, I do recognize the applicant's right to develop the property. I recognize that it's a VMU, which is a relatively intense zoning classification, future land use category. But I want to suggest that maybe we recharacterize the comments as being minor comments, specifically because of one of the staff comments. I believe it was in the environmental review, and that had to do with whether or not the lot was subject to the 50% scrub preservation requirement. And specifically, the reason I think that that may represent an issue is I just did some quick math. The document, the single plan drawing that was provided in the publicly accessible documents was sort of a combination of a site plan and had some additional utilities, existing conditions on it, but the dimensions were not complete on the drawing. I'm going to assume that the staff had access to the full set. It appeared that was one sheet out of a larger set. So, but just based on the information that was available on the drawing, the building footprint is 1,755 square feet. The parking lot is at least 5,000 square feet, and that totals 6,755 square feet. And that is more, that's well more, several hundred square feet more than 50% of the lot. So I'm going to suggest, I'm going to restate this at the end here, but I'm going to suggest that that is information that the committee would be advised to receive before it considers any sort of conditional approval of the project, because it could represent an issue with the size of the building and the size of the parking lot. Second, this is a greater concern to me, and that is that the landscape plan and the staff mentions preservation plan are not in the packet that was provided for public review. So I don't know if they exist, but they certainly weren't provided in the packet that the public had available to them. The drainage plan, again, I'm sure if it was labeled drainage plan, but the drawing that was available, plan drawing of the site, did not have a sufficient amount of information to understand drainage. I don't have any real reason to think there would be a problem with providing adequate drainage, but again, it's not provided. There are some retaining walls shown on the property. They've got a little bit of curious information. The top of the wall appears to jump up and down, not in relation to the elevation of the property around it. The reason I mention it is, while I don't own either of the adjacent properties to the sides, drainage in that area is something that could be a concern as all the properties are developed, especially for the people downhill. And I would be concerned, given the proximity of those retaining walls to the adjacent lot lines, that they be properly resolved and reviewed before any approval is granted. And just to kind of underscore this, I don't think it is responsible of the committee to conditionally approve projects that could lead the applicant to have a poor understanding of what's going to be expected of them. I think that's critical for any quality development, is for the applicant to understand what they're going to need to do in order to develop the property in conformance with the regulations. Mr. Chairman, am I okay on time? Do we have any specific limit? I have a few more comments.
Right ahead.
All right. I mentioned that there are some concerns related on the adjacent properties in this vicinity. I am going to suggest that the prior lot was cleared. I mean, the existing subject lot was cleared in the past. I think it was about 3 years ago. I don't know if there was an approved plan in place. It appears that maybe a prior owner had attempted to develop the property. So I know it's not appropriate for me to interrogate staff, but are you all aware if there, I'm certain the property was cleared. What I'm not certain of is whether there was a permit in place when it was cleared.
And I don't know.
Okay. So I guess I'll suggest that that be investigated. If there was a prior plan, I'd suggest it should probably be reviewed before this project is considered for approval. The immediately adjacent property to the east is what was, I believe, developed as a residence and was later converted to a real estate office. Currently, it has no fence. Its parking lot is within a few feet of the residential property to the north. My understanding of the code is there should either be a fence there or a 20-foot landscape buffer. And so this is simply an example of the sensitivity of VMU to the adjacent residential property. Immediately to the east, the Blue Gulf Townhomes. I appreciate very much the developer. I believe he was encouraged by the county, but re-scrubbed the property. I did notice when looking at it in the last couple days, unfortunately, all the beautiful oaks that they installed have brown leaves on them, top to bottom. And for those that don't know, that's an indication the tree's dead as a doornail. Healthy trees drop their brown leaves. So, you know, we need to make sure that the re-scrubs of these properties is not only a plan is provided, but we make sure that they stay that way. Third, I think this was the property you were referring to, Mac, and that is a couple lots to the west. A lot was cleared with no permit. Most distressing about that is because they had no permit. I don't believe they had any erosion control in place, and it's directly on a very, very pretty pond. I imagine that probably introduced a whole lot of silt into that pond. So all of this to say, my closing statement is that I think all of us are here because we care a great deal about Walton County and how beautiful it is. I think the reason that this place is so successful is because the county has enforced the various regulations. We have beautiful properties with beautiful landscaping, and I think the best way to make sure that happens on this property is to continue the project to a future meeting and make sure that all those landscape plans, preservation plans, and properly engineered drainage and retaining wall plans are part of the packet that the staff reviews. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Good morning, Mac and committee members. My name is Barbara Morano, and I am representing the Board of South Walton Community Council in supporting the concerns of the neighbors surrounding the project Russian 30A office. I want to thank Renee Bradley for answering my questions yesterday and for her patience in going over the staff report in Tim's absence. South Walton Community Council is strongly recommending that this project be continued because of all the various concerns that David recommended. Why? Because this project, even though it is a minor development order, to the citizens, it is a major change in that neighborhood. We should not be rushing to approve, especially since there are many staff and environmental comments not addressed. This project can be approved today, but this approving this today takes away another opportunity for citizens to come before the TRC to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. The TRC is where the rubber meets the road. You know, I've been here for the past 14 months, so this is an important meeting. This is the time for planning, for the community, for the engineer, for the developer to come together for a mutually satisfying agreement. We're all going to be neighbors. This is a community that Rushing 30A office will be moving into, and the building fronts on a national scenic byway, and it has to be preserved. There is not a standard of compatibility in the LDC, but it's a very important component going forward.
Yes, the property is VMU in a residential preservation environment. This is a commercial office, and the requirements for a mixture of uses may be waived for a single use. Would we like to sing a single family? Absolutely. This parcel is only 0.3 acres, 3,250 square feet with a minimum of 13 parking spaces with a huge dumpster in the back that's probably going to clang and clang at 6:30 in the morning. We need more details. We see huge walls surrounding this development, and there's no explanation. Planning and development comments are serious comments. Environmental comments are serious comments. Preservation detail, as David mentioned, is missing. Landscape plans are missing, and we can't now, from the moment that 30A was recognized as the National Scenic Byway, those landscape plans have to be in place right now. It's a white sand protection zone, and we don't have a lighting plan. In closing, continuing this project is not only the right thing to do for the community, but for the county. We do not have much land left on Scenic Highway 30A, especially on the west end. We need to take a breath, go back to the drawing board, and continue this project. The delay is really minor in the scheme of things. If there was a rush, then all their ducks should have been in a row by the engineer, by the developer. So that's why SWCC would not be, otherwise we wouldn't be asking for this continuance. Continue this project, then we can all sleep together, sleep better, knowing we did the best for all parties concerned. So I appreciate David's comments. David has a lot of initials after his last name. I respect him tremendously. He's not only a friend, but a neighbor. And I certainly hope you continue this project. And we have some other neighborhood residents that would like to speak as well. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to comment on this particular application? Yes, ma'am.
Morning, my name is Carrie King Carmona, and I am a board member at Draper Lake Coastal Village, here representing our neighborhood and our concerns that we just like to state for this project. We know that there's going to probably be an office building placed there, so our concerns are added traffic. We feel that it could be non-compatible depending on the outcome. Environmental impacts, feel it's a continued destruction of 30A as far as our designation of a scenic highway. A big one for me is light pollution. We can see the lights already from the Draper J building just down the street that flashes across our lake, impacting our native species, especially the turtles. And then sign pollution. I don't know if that's been talked about, but right now when I walk by the other office building, I see A-boards out there that looks very trashy along our scenic highway. So those are the concerns, and we also we are for a continuance so that our community has input to the outcome of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, if you'd come to the podium, please.
My name is Deborah Caraway, and I am the president of the Crescent Cay Homeowners Association, and I would just like to reiterate what Dave, Barbara, and others have said regarding this project. I do think there needs to be continuance so that we can understand a bit more about this project, and that the land does have some preservation aspects to it. I do think that we live on the lake also, and the light from Draper J just shines over the trees onto the lake, and I think it really does fly in the face of what scenic highway should be about. And I think we really need to take a hard look at these projects so that they don't become overly commercialized. And I would ask that you also grant an extension. Thank you.
Anyone else in our audience this morning wishing to speak? Anyone on Zoom? I see no hands up on Zoom. Plenty of faces, but no hands. We'll close this portion of the meeting this morning. Jamie, would you like to respond?
Forgive me if I miss anything, so feel free to jog my memory. Took some notes. On a few of the items, heard that landscaping and drainage weren't uploaded. Obviously, they were. I think those were clear on the portal, and everybody on staff had a chance to review it, so I'm not sure where that comment is coming from. Obviously, can't speak to the adjacent properties and their buffers. With regards to the comment about preservation and size of preservation, so this particular property is actually split into two different segments. Adjacent to 30A is Masick Flatwoods. The area that Haley's referenced is actually at the rear of the site. That area has obviously been cleared. So at a minimum, as we reforest it, there is nothing there now. There will be reforestation done, so it will absolutely be an improvement than the cleared site as it currently sits. Head down here. You know, I know compatibility is not a component, but we heard it spoke about. We are a smaller office than the office adjacent to us, and we're set back further from the neighbors as they didn't meet the buffer, as I think David alluded to. So we are absolutely meeting that. I may have missed something, but those are what I had in my notes. But I'm happy to take any questions.
Would you be willing to have a community meeting?
Sure.
That would probably provide the applicant an opportunity to understand how the neighborhood feels about the project, and they might have some good ideas about how to make the project more compatible with our National Scenic Byway and our residential preservation neighborhood behind it. And if the applicant were willing to do that, I think that would be a very good step and a good faith step.
Sure. I will absolutely recommend they do that.
How long do you think it would take to do that?
I mean, I would think continuing it for a month would be appropriate. I don't think we can meet and potentially address anything before the next meeting.
With that good faith comment, we'll entertain a motion to continue this to the July 7th. Is that the right date? July 7 Technical Review Committee meeting to allow the applicant an opportunity to voluntarily meet with the neighborhood.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the July 7 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And that moves us to item number 10. The Beach Club plat, request to approve by final plat. Renee, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is a minor plat application submitted by Emerald Coast Associations on behalf of S&L Carry and Properties LLC. They're requesting to plat 15 lots, single townhome development on 3.32 acres with the future land use and zoning of a coastal center, mixed use, future land use and zoning of coastal center. This is located on the left side of Topsail Boulevard, which is south of US Highway 98 and is identified by the parcel ID in your packet. Staff doesn't have any outstanding comments on this project. This is the second time that TRC's heard it. We've actually reduced this project from 28 units to 15 units. It was originally a major development. The only thing that we have pending is receiving a signed Mylar and the recreation fee. I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered. Thank you, Renee. Any comments from the applicant?
Morning. Darrell Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. We agree with staff's recommendation to move forward to the BCC. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Anyone have a technical question or comment about this particular application in the audience or on Zoom? See no hands in either location. We'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Renee. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the BCC. Thank you, Renee. This moves us to agenda item number 11, the Blue Gulf Townhome Plat. This is a request to approve by final plat. Bob Baronti's reviewed it. Bob, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. As you said, this is the Blue Gulf Townhomes Plat. It is plat number PLA 21-000017. This is a minor plat application submitted by Larry Walsh and Associates, LLC, on behalf of Blue Gulf Townhomes, LLC, requesting to plat 7 lots on .74 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in the zoning district of village mixed use. The district is in District 5, and it is located east of Blue Gulf Drive and County Highway 30A. It's identified by the parcel numbers in your staff report. Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask you to enter this staff report in the record.
Yes, sir. It's so entered.
Mr. Chair, as I said, this is in District 3. The request is to plat 7 lots. The DO issuance date was 4/25/19 for this project under DO MIN 18-00000009 Blue Gulf Place Townhomes. There are outstanding comments from the county surveyor engineer, floodplain management, and the planning department. The fees have been listed. The recreational fee will be provided to the applicant in an email. There are basically, the comments have been listed. I don't believe the agent is here. Oh, the agent is here. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize her. Do you have any questions for me before I turn it over to the agent?
Probably for the agent. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
Hi, Ashley Cobb on behalf of Larry Walsh and Associates.
Good morning. Have you submitted proposed covenants and restrictions to go along with this plat? Okay. Do you have any questions on the comments in the staff report? Covenants and restrictions being reviewed as part of this, pretty important. So we can't move it forward until we get these corrections on the preliminary paper copy of the plat and having reviewed the covenants and restrictions consistent with the DO. How long do you think it'll take to turn this around?
We have those submitted within the next couple days.
Including the covenants and restrictions? I want to continue it to the next meeting, which would be the 16th, I think. That give you plenty of time? Okay. We'll entertain a motion to continue to June 16th.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to June 16th at 8:30 a.m. in this location, subject to resubmittal with the covenants and restrictions. That moves us to item number 12 on the agenda, Lot 7, Block A, Choctaw Plat. This is also Bob's. You can review it for us, Bob.
Yes, Mr. Chair, as you said, this is for Lot 7, Block A, Choctaw Plat. It is PLA 21-000011. This is a minor plat application submitted by Rare Earth on behalf of Acquisitions of Northwest Florida, requesting to replat Lot 7 into one lot on 0.28 plus or minus acres with future land use of rural residential in the zoning district rural village. The property is located in District 4, and it is identified by the parcel number in your staff report. Mr. Chair, I'd like to enter staff report in the record, please.
So entered.
Mr. Chair, there are outstanding comments from the county surveyor engineer and the planning department. The agent is here, I believe. Yes. The agent is here. If you have any further questions for me before I turn it over to the agent.
No, I don't think so, Bob. Thank you very much.
Thank you, very much, Mr. Chair. I'll turn it over to the agent.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Shannon with Rare Earth. Those comments that we received, I'll have those addressed post haste and returned back. And we respectfully request to have it tentatively approved
How soon can you get back to us?
this afternoon.
We can continue to the next meeting.
Continued? Yes, sir.
But we're making sure that we got the paper copy of the plat correct before we go to Mylar
Understand.
at this stage.
Right.
So the quicker you can get it back to us, the quicker we can get it reviewed, and get it moved forward.
Very good, sir.
But this morning, we're gonna have to continue to June 16th.
June 16th, very good.
The quicker you get it back to us, the quicker we get it reviewed and we can get it moved forward.
Understood.
And probably get to BCC in early next month. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I'll make a motion that we continue this project to the June 16th meeting, or this plat, excuse me.
We have a motion to continue to June 16th. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any- Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to June 16th, 2021, Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And that moves us to agenda number 13, Point Washington Preserve, Phase 3B. It's a minor development reviewed by Bob Baronti. Bob, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is Point Washington Preserve, Phase 3B. The project number is MIN 21-000019 and is being reviewed by myself. This is a minor development application submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineering Incorporated on behalf of Point Washington Preserve LLC, requesting to develop 20 apartment units as Phase 3B of Point Washington Preserve on 9.76 plus or minus acres with future land use of mixed use and a zoning district of Town Center 1. The property is in District 5 and it's located on J.D. Miller Road. The parcel numbers included in your staff report, Mr. Chair. As you know, this is the minor technical review for Phase 3B of the overall master plan that was conditionally approved. So the outstanding comments are from Public Works and planning. There are minor comments that can be, I believe, addressed. The agent is here to answer any questions you may have. Can I enter the staff report in the record, please?
So entered, Bob. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me before I turn it over to the agent?
No, I do have some questions for Dewberry. Just looking at page 7 of 10 of the staff report. It talks about Phase 3C. And comment of this approval is valid for Phase 3C only?
Should be 3B.
That's what that should be.
That should be 3B, correct. I apologize. We could make that revision.
Yeah, we'll note the revision from Dewberry to the comment in the staff report.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And on page 7, the reference to Phase 3C should be Phase 3B in all those iterations on that page.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't. Thank you, Bob.
I will turn it over to the agent to address any comments you or the public may have.
Thank you, sir.
Morning, Curtis Smith, Nautilus Civil Engineers.
Good morning.
I think we are good to go on this one. The only comment we have was regarding the floodplain changing. The new adopted maps need to be reflected on the survey. It was actually reflected on the site plans. It's just not on the original survey. So we've asked the surveyor just to update that.
Yeah, I didn't see any other outstanding comments.
This was actually more or less just the building and the adjacent sidewalk for Phase 3B.
Okay.
3C will be a little bit more significant.
Any other comments for the applicant from TRC? Since this is a minor development order, we'll take the opportunity to invite any comments from any member of the public, either in the room here this morning or on Zoom. Anyone wishing to make a comment about this proposed application, please raise your hand. I see no hands up in our audience this morning, and I see no hands up on Zoom. Bob, do we have a recommended motion?
Chair, I have a recommendation of conditional approval pending successful resubmittal, and move this to development order stage once those comments have been addressed.
Thank you, sir. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments. Thank you, Bob. That moves us to item number 14, which is also a Bob review, minor development for Shelby's Beach Bar. If you could introduce that one for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This, as you said, is the Shelby's Beach Bar, project number MIN 21-000024. This is a minor development application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates on behalf of Jeff and Vicki Miller, requesting to develop a 4,356 square foot patio bar on 0.11 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in the zoning district of village mixed use. The property is in District 5 and is located on the corner of the intersection of County Highway 393 and County Highway 30A. And it's identified by the parcel number in your staff report. Mr. Chair, this is a outdoor bar. The restaurant has already had a development order. There have been no comments received by the public, and there are just a few minor comments. Staff would like to enter the staff report in the record.
So entered.
And do you have any questions for me, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, given that this, and maybe this is for the applicant, given that this is an existing restaurant location.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What are we changing?
We're just adding, I can turn it over to the applicant.
And maybe the applicant could
Yes, sir.
be better prepared to fully describe that.
John Humphrey, Emerald Coast Associates. There is an existing outdoor patio area where patrons can be served. All we're doing is adding a covering to that. We're reducing the impervious area, adding some landscaping around the new, basically like a gazebo type structure.
Do we have a picture of it?
I do not know if we have a picture of it. We did submit architectural plans with elevations and profile views.
Okay. So really, this DO is necessary to meet the 1967 Act for service of alcohol at restaurants.
I'm not familiar with
Barring
that.
a 4,000-foot restaurant under permanent cover. Sounds like that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that restaurant presently isn't qualified to continue to serve alcohol or under the current 6 COP SRX version of the license where you serve 51% food and you can serve mixed drinks.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like what we're doing here, which I don't really see an issue with. I just wanted to understand exactly why this is changing, because it was already approved as a restaurant.
Yes. All I know is that we're adding covering to that area.
Well, since I don't have a picture of it in front of me, could you describe it?
It is, it's a square structure with the columns. There's going to be a peaked roof in the center, along the center, and then glass, I guess, ceramic glass, or what is it? They're glass ceiling covers for the roofing. So a portion of it is going to be a tile roof, and then if you look at the plan, the center portion where those squares are is going to be covered, and then the outside squares on the east and west are going to be glass.
But the covering surface is going to be glass throughout, or it's going to be kind of a mixture?
A mixture.
Looks like Rachel is feverishly trying to find the elevation here for us.
Should be, yeah.
Okay.
Next one, further down. Page 7, I believe. That might be, yeah. So the center part will be roofed, and then this outer section.
Do we have a lighting plan that goes along with this? Given that
We do not have a lighting plan with the civil engineering plans. It will be submitted during the building permit phase.
Okay, we'll have to have, this will be a total lighting.
Oh, yes, definitely. There should be a note on the site plan for turtle lighting plans to be submitted with the building permit phase.
Yeah, some tasteful turtle lighting could really make this a major competitor to the competition across the street. I mean, they got a lot of mileage out of their turtle lighting. From an architectural standpoint, you could probably get a lot of mileage out of it here, and it would be very popular. And an asset to our National Scenic Byway.
Hey, Mac,
Yes.
I know that we've discussed a perimeter barrier kind of component where they're wanting to qualify for the restaurant-related special license, I can't tell from any of the existing, aerials or elevations whether they have a landscape plan and an enclosure of any kind, proposed as part of the site plan.
Can you respond to that?
For a landscape plan, I'm not sure. There isn't any required plantings.
If our purpose here is to accomplish the necessary physical improvements necessary to qualify under the special act,
Yeah.
you're going to need to be able to control the ability for people to walk in and out of this covered area.
There is area for landscaping around the structure. If you can see the outside the square, there's
It just can't
So-
be, but, and pardon me with my crude description, but it just can't be a tent
yes.
where you can walk in from any side.
No,
There has
those
to be some kind of controlled access.
yes, those areas will be landscaped. As the plantings in those landscaped areas, I'm not sure what they are currently. We can add plantings to those and call out specific vegetation as a shrub or some sort of hedge.
I know there's just, without walking back to the site, on the east side, seems like there is some kind of low wall landscaping barrier kind of thing. I'm not sure that that exists on the west side. And previously, when this restaurant served alcohol in this particular area, it wasn't necessary because that was not how they qualified. The interior part of the restaurant used to be much larger, and that space has now been demised into other business.
Yes.
And that's why it's important now. If that's what we're trying to do, let's make sure we do everything we need to do to accomplish the applicant's intent.
Yes.
So my recommendation would be to take another look at that, confirm with staff that what proposed improvements are either exist or being made to accomplish this, go far enough to actually get you there, because we don't want to get through the DO and then have the license application held up because the site doesn't meet all of the requirements. Because that looks like exactly what we're trying to do here is position this so it can qualify for the that special restaurant license.
To my knowledge, we are just covering the area so that people don't get rained on.
Then you might want to confirm with your client that that is adequate for their purpose. Because my guess is that's not all we're trying to accomplish here. I don't see anything else engineering-wise that would be related to, adding some kind of barrier. And if all they want to do is cover this and not meet those other requirements, I don't know that we've got anything else to take a look at. I just have concern that that's not all we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah. And to my understanding, we were just trying to cover it, but Dean Burgess has been the engineer record on this and had more contact with the client.
Well, we're certainly, I think the committee would be amenable to moving this forward to development order. I would just caution you to confirm with your client that that covering is the only thing that they need to do today.
Yes, sir.
I think if we could probably add that at staff level before approving the DO, if there was something that needed to be added in a fencing context, whether that's landscaping or some other kind of physical barrier to meet the special ag requirements. But since that's not being requested today, we can move forward with this, subject to the possibility of adding the barrier.
Yes, sir.
I mean, while they're thinking about that with Dean, they may want to go ahead and make sure they've got configuration for adequate seating.
Yeah, because the other thing, part of that is 100 seats at tables under permanent cover. So might want to confirm that also.
Okay.
Because this is a multi-pronged test for that special license for Walton County. Just make sure you touched all those bases so that when we get
Absolutely.
to the license approval, or the zoning signature approval, we've got everything we need to sign off on that, and that can proceed accordingly. How do we want to style a motion on this? As a suggestion, a suggested motion, recommend approval subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments and confirmation as to whether or not there are some additional improvements that need to be made to satisfy the special act thresholds.
I'll motion to that effect.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. This is a minor development. Before we move forward, we'll take the opportunity to ask if anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom would like to comment on this particular application. Seeing none in either location, we'll close that portion. We have a motion at the dais. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order. And that appears to be our agenda this morning. So thank you very much. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, please say aye.
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 We stand adjourned.
Goodbye.